If you're an overthinker, then the smartest move you can make is to become an idiot. Now, what do I even mean by that? You're probably saying that doesn't even make sense. Well, it does, because what's happened is your intelligence, the intelligence of the mind, has actually been twisted and it's become its own form of stupidity. Now, before you click off, I'm not judging you. I have experienced this myself. I am the first to say I have been so stupid in the past, right? So stupid. My own mind has become very, very corrupt and twisted, and it's made it I've made so many mistakes. So I'm not judging you. I'm just pointing out the fact that your own mind, when you're overthinking, is its own form of stupidity. Not because, you don't get good marks on an IQ test, because it's robbing you of the things that you want. It's because it's making your life worse, not better. That's why it's its own form of stupidity, right? And the counterintuitive solution to that is to become an idiot. And that fact that becoming an idiot is actually extremely intelligent in certain situations. So let me explain a little bit more. Basically, you have an intelligent mind, right? And so you like to think. But then somewhere, somehow down the line, through either your school, your parents, your upbringing, society, you've been led to believe, and it's been beaten into you, that more and more thinking leads to better decisions, that more and more thinking leads to better actions, that over-analyzing, that more analysis leads to better decisions, that you need to prepare and prepare and prepare to finally go out and act. When in fact, that is literally what's making your life worse. And it's the opposite. The opposite is true. That actually, if you were to trust in your intuition and your instincts, and you were to recognize the intelligence that your intuition and your instincts have, then you would realize that a lot of the time, the best move isn't to overthink. The best move is to basically do the first thing that comes to mind, do the thing that feels right in your gut, say the first thing that comes to mind, right? To make the decision that you just know is right without overthinking it, and to start to move and take action and basically getting a momentum of doing more instead of thinking more. And that becomes its own form of intelligence. And if you do it right, now you can have both the intelligence of the mind, you can still think, you can still analyze, you can still prepare, but it doesn't cross over the line into overthinking, over-analyzing, over-preparing. And you get to get the benefit of using your intuition and your instincts to take action, to stop procrastinating, to stop overthinking, to actually live your life, enjoy your life, have better conversations, be better socially, right? And the best example of this are kids. That's why I say be an idiot. Basically, be like a kid, right? Kids, we can all agree, are more idiotic than us, right? They know less, right? They're not as intellectual as us. And they, in a lot of ways, you could say they're more of an idiot than adults, right? But kids have their own intelligence because they're not there sat overthinking, overanalyzing, too self-aware. What are kids doing? They're going off, they're doing things without thinking about it, right? They're saying things without filtering themselves, right? Kids find it a lot easier to make friends than adults do most of the time. Kids find it a lot easier to have fun and enjoy themselves than adults do, right? Kids aren't there, numbing themselves and distracting themselves with substances and drugs and alcohol and whatever the case may be. No, they're going out and they're enjoying themselves in the moment. So kids have their own intelligence, their own wisdom. And most of the time it's because, like I said in the beginning, you've been beaten out of it eventually through your upbringing and through school and through society. You were kind of beaten out of the way of living as a child. And some of it is also constructive and positive, right? You do want to start to think more. You do want to start to have your own opinions. You do want to start to be more intellectual. That's going to, honestly be how you're going to be more productive and how you're going to basically, survive in life. Like kids kind of need to depend on us. However, It's just gotten to a point where if you're an overthinker, you've swung too far over to the overthinking side, and you've basically gotten rid of the thing that you should have kept from childhood, which is that trust in your intuition, trust in your instincts, not overthinking, taking action with little to no thought at all, right? Being in the zone, being in the flow. Saying, like, here's the thing, right? Here's when you should start to apply it in the beginning. If you're in a conversation, if you're in a situation where you're not trying to be super productive or get a certain outcome done, then you can start there, right? Conversations, you shouldn't overthink. You're just having a conversation to have a conversation, to enjoy it, right? When you're doing sports and hobbies, that's, again, you're doing things without thinking, and the less you think, the better the results are, right? If you're in a sport and you start to overthink, you usually perform worse, right? So when you get outside of your head and into the moment and you start to trust in your instincts and you just act without thinking, that's when you perform better in sports, right? Same goes when you're, having conversations with friends, new people, when you're dating. The more you overthink, the more anxious you feel, the more stifled you get, the less, the more rigid you become, the less attraction you build, right? The more awkward the situation gets, the less you enjoy it. So again, be an idiot. Stop overthinking. Say the first thing that comes to mind, right? Even in business and in your career, sometimes you just know the thing that you should be doing. You just know, okay, this is the right thing. You just feel it in your gut. Instead of overthinking and overanalyzing and trying to come up with a better thing logically, no, just go with it. Just test it out. Allow yourself to occasionally test out the gut feeling of, this is what I should do, right? And as you start to do that, you will realize that the intuition and the instincts have their own intelligence. And the biggest realization I want you to have today is that thinking, the mind, the intellect, is one form of intelligence. There are many other forms of intelligence. The intuition and the instincts are another form of intelligence. So you become a lot more intelligent when you learn to have both. When you learn to balance in between both the mind and the intuition and instincts. When you learn to be an idiot and practice being an idiot so that you can balance yourself out. Like, I'm not saying be a complete idiot, quit your job, start taking hard drugs, go live on the street, get into crime, and live like that horrible lifestyle. That's clearly not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, be an idiot. Stop overthinking. Do what an idiot would do. Do what a kid would do. Do the first thing that comes to mind. Jump in the deep end and learn how to swim. Fly by the seat of your pants, right? Live your life, right? Do things that you're not prepared for, right? If someone invites you out to something, go for it. Don't overthink it. If you want to be more social and you get invited out to a social event, don't overthink why you can't. Just go, right? If you want to start getting healthier and you want to start working out, don't overthink the routine, don't overthink the diet plan, right? You can think about that as you go along and start to improve it as you go. But the first thing you should do is just go to the gym, or just start working out today at your home. Start doing some push-ups, whatever comes to mind. Start doing some sit-ups, start doing some squats, right? Go on a run, whatever comes to mind. If you want to start eating healthy and you don't quite know what the healthiest thing is, do whatever comes to mind, right? If you don't know, okay, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Maybe I should Google it. Oh, Google, first thing, oh, that's a healthy meal. Boom, I make that meal. You don't overthink it. You get just enough information to take action, right? And most of the time, you already have the knowledge. You already have the information if it's not like a new pursuit that you're going on. And so that's when you can just start to act without even collecting more information. And you become an idiot in that sense. You think less, you study less, you prepare less, you analyze less, you start to be more idiotic. But in doing that, you become more intelligent because you're tapping into the intelligence of your intuition and your instincts. And you're able to balance it out. And then you're able to go and think and analyze and prepare in the right amounts when necessary. And you can do that consciously instead of, going through your whole life stuck in your head and that making your life worse, not better. If something's making your life worse, that's not intelligence. That's stupidity. If something's making your life better, That's a form of intelligence, right? So go try this out. Go be an idiot. Go do the thing without thinking about it. Go say the thing without thinking about it. See what happens. If you want more videos like this, check out my channel, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you soon. Peace.